Welcome to ESM 102 for winter term. This orientation is going to be dealing more with the material that's in the syllabus and some of the technical aspects of the course. There are multiple themes for the course, and they all revolve around how can we reduce the impact of humans and our society and economy on the environment. And I'm going to go through these themes real quickly. We're going to be revisiting them during the term, but we're going to describe different types of environmental problems. And we're going to talk about how humans impact the environment through their consumption and use of technology. And then we're going to use, I'm going to show you how to approach these different problems at a smaller scale than you might normally think, like the human and community scales, whereas often the most visible impact of humans are the large projects, the hydroelectric dams, the freeways, the large technology that we use. And then I'm going to show you how to use different approaches to start solving problems to get the information we need, and then how we can participate in solving these problems. And underlying this, there's always going to be this question about how do we know we're doing the right things? And this comes back to really taking the scientific approach and following up a lot of the details and unanswered questions and trying to make sure there's really very few unintended consequences. We can think we're doing the right thing, but then it turns out, whoops, we made a big mistake, and the larger project we have, the larger that mistake is. So we're going to look at we're going to look at these problem types. We're going to explore the data with several types of structured approaches that you can see here. And we're going to approach these problems in a very systematic way. So we have a lot of topics we're going to get through in the term, but they all connect to this idea of how we can reduce the impact of humans on the environment. So whenever you're having trouble making sense of some point I'm trying to make, think back, well, how does this help us understand how to reduce the impact of humans on the environment? That's really the big theme of this course. So the course has a separate lecture. This online course has a separate lecture, in quotes, section and laboratory sections. And so you'll have D2L sites for both of these. That's where you go. That's your go-to place for each one. In the lecture section, each week is going to have a series of each week or each module is going to have a series of documents in D2L, and you just go through those, probably starting with a short orientation, just a description of what's happening in that week, and then I'm going to talk through the slides like I'm doing here. There'll be the reading assessments, and then there's 3 assignments. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And for the lab section, again, there's a weekly short presentation and worksheet, and then there's a set of assignments that go over the full term that lead to a final project. Okay, the resources for the course in general, use D2L mail and send questions to me or to the graduate teaching assistant if it's more related to the lab. Use a meaningful subject heading. Don't just reply back to something. So if you've got a problem and you want to know about some particular concept or technology problem, put that in the subject header. And there's also a class bulletin board that you can post to if you have a technical problem. There's a general class bulletin board. And then within each week, there's a discussion board that's optional for the lecture where you can post some questions and get input from other students. And it's going to be required in the lab. So the graded assignments, this is really the crux of what happens in this course. You're going to have I'm going to do these voiceover slide presentations. There's some readings and there's some videos. And then what you have to deliver each week is there's a content quiz. And just to make it real easy for you, these are due Friday night by 11:59 p.m. And it's 10 questions, and you can take the questions up to 3 times and get your best score. Now, it's not going to give you the answer after the first time, but you can think about, okay, what did you miss, and you can look it over. So it's a way to reinforce what you learn. Then there's the analysis questions, and those are due by Sunday night at 11:59, and those are short answers. There's going to be a rubric posted that tells you what I'm looking for. The better you read the instructions for that, the better you're going to do on those questions, and those tie together the facts and the concepts and what we're, the major theme and how we're going to try to analyze these problems and what we could do to solve them. And then at the end of each week, there's an exit survey. It's really quick. It just asks you sort of what was the most important thing you learned, what were you still fuzzy about, that sort of question. You just do it. It's worth points, but it's not graded in the sense that I grade your answers, but you have to turn it in to get the points. And another just warning here is, even though I've told you when all these are due, there's a few weeks like Martin Luther King Day where it's going to be pushed off to Monday. So just look at all the assignments, and the due times will be listed in D2L calendar. The D2L calendar is really is really where you need to be looking for where everything is due and what's coming up that's due. Now the laboratory assignments, again, they're going to go over this more in the laboratory orientation and in your first week of laboratory. I think the key here is that you're going to be doing science by collecting data, making some measurements, doing some evaluation, and you really need to stay up with this each week and try to use the feedback that the GTA, the graduate teaching assistant, is giving you. Okay, your responsibilities. This really helps the students that do well in this course really stay on top of the course material, and they devote the time to it. And time management is the key. If you wait till 11:58 on Sunday night, you really don't have much time to mess around with the quiz. But if you do it early, you do the reading and you think about it and you come back to it and do those quizzes and the analysis question, you should be in good shape. Make sure you have access to the technology, and you can check that your browser is working with D2L, right? When you just first log in, there's a little check. That's a technical issue that you need to solve right away. If you have a problem between your browser, your computer, your internet connection, and D2L, that's really nothing I can do anything about, and so you should check that right away. And then run through this orientation material. Make sure you know how to navigate around in D2L. I know a lot of you have had courses in D2L. This course is laid out to really rely on the course content tab and working through things in order as it's shown there, and the assignments showing up in the calendar, and then the news posts to keep you updated on any little changes. If you have any problems, contact either the PSU help desk, send an email to myself or the GTA, and also post it to the course bulletin board for the main bulletin board, because maybe it's just a problem somebody else bumped into and already solved, and they can just help you right away. All right, so getting started, work through all the documents in this orientation module. That's the syllabus. The lab syllabus is a separate D2L section. Review the major points and hints for doing well in the course. I mean, even if you're a veteran at this, it helps just to have that little refresher. And then take the orientation of an online quiz in D2L and get prepared for week 1, because that's going to be posted. And as you see that week module show up, just browsing through there to see what's in there is a really good way to get started. All right, well, good luck with this course, and I look forward to reading your material and getting to know you online, and have fun with this course.